Winning Blueprint presents.
5 minutes or less.
Had so much success with it before. I'm back with it again, the 5 minute or less series. Welcome. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Back with the 5 minute or less series. This time, it's the schedule release 5 minute or less series. Here with the Philadelphia Eagles. Got 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get started. So, anytime I look at the schedule, doesn't matter what the team is, I always look at primetime games. How many do you have? Eagles are in a new administration. Now, out with Andy Reid, in with Chip Kelly. It's a whole different organization, new scheme. Everyone's kind of anxious and really don't know what to expect from the Eagles this year. And so there's a lot of intrigue, a lot of mystery surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be up-tempo, fast-paced, and so anxious to see how many primetime games they have. You look down at the schedule, they've got 2. You look at Thursday Night Football, Week 3 versus the Kansas City Chiefs. You're at home for the Chiefs. That's the Andy Reid game. Andy Reid coming back to Philadelphia, a place where he was a coach for over a decade. Should be fun. I want to see how he's going to be received. I think it's going to be very well. We'll see how that turns out. But that's a nice matchup on Thursday Night Football for the Philadelphia Eagles. You look at Week 1, right out of the gate. Everyone's anxious to see what the Eagles are going to look like under Chip Kelly. Well, you don't have to wait long. The NFL unveils them on Monday Night Football against the Washington Redskins. You're at Washington Week 1. That's a tough matchup in the division. Redskins were the NFC East champions a season ago, and so you got to go into Washington, a place where you lost last year, and try to get a victory. That should be a very, very fun matchup on Monday Night Football. You look at divisional games. Washington. You're home for Washington in Week 11. We just talked about Week 1, you're on the road at Washington on Monday Night Football. You look at Dallas, Week 7, you're at home. Got to take the Cowboys down. Last year, the Cowboys were able to get you twice. Got to find a way to get the Cowboys if you want to win in this division. You go to Week 17, you're at home. You go to Week 17, you're at Dallas. Dallas has struggled in the late season games. Last game of the season, this time they're finally at home. You got to go to Dallas. That could be for a playoff spot. Dallas could be trying to get in. You could be trying to get in. You could be trying to win a division. Dallas could be trying to win a division. That could be a huge game with huge playoff implications. We'll see how that turns out. Giants. To me, that's your main and chief rival, the Giants. Week 8, you got the Giants at home. Week 5, you got the Giants on the road. So there's not a big gap there. Week 5 and Week 8, we're talking about a month's time. You got the Giants twice. So that's going to be key. How do you play against the Giants? Because again, if you want to make headway in this division, you got to win games in the division, at home especially. Got to take care of home games. And if you're going to make some serious power moves in this division, you got to win on the road as well. You look at anomalies, and the Eagles have plenty of them. And anomalies for me are any scheduling quirks that sees you play 3 or more games at home or on the road consecutively. 3 out of 4 at home or on the road, or 4 out of 5 at home or on the road. The Eagles have plenty of anomalies, so bear with me here. Technically, they have a 4 out of 5 stretch on their schedule for an anomaly, and that's a rare occurrence. The NFL hates giving out 3 consecutive games home or away, and they hate giving out 4 out of 5s, but the Eagles do have a 4 out of 5, but it's separated by a bye, so I won't count it, but technically, there's a 4 out of 5 stretch here for the Eagles. You look at a home anomaly, 3 out of 4. Week 13 versus Arizona. Week 14 versus Detroit. Week 16 versus Chicago. So those are all home games. 3 out of 4 at home at the latter part of your schedule. That's a nice little segue toward the end of the season for you when you have to travel to Dallas. Got to get those games at home. Those are going to be big toward the end of the season. You look at your away anomaly. 3 straight. So that's a tough one. 3 straight on the road. You got Week 4 at Denver. Week 5 at the Giants. Week 6 at Tampa Bay. So right at the beginning of the season. And really, that's a tough stretch for you. 3 straight on the road. These are some really good teams. We're talking about at Denver. We're talking about at the Giants. Those are 2 perennial playoff teams, essentially. And then you look at Tampa Bay. They were playing really good football for a stretch last season. That's a tough stretch. 3 on the road in a row. We'll see how you handle that. You look at your bye week, Week 12. That's a really late bye. You'll take it, but man, you'd like it to be somewhere around 10, maybe 9, 11 at the latest. They gave it to you at 12. You'll take it. that should give you a chance to recharge that battery and give it a go down the stretch. But that's a very late buy. You'll take it. I'd rather have my buy late than early. You look at Kotze games, and Kotze games for me, circle on the calendar games. For me, week 3 at Kansas City, that's easy. Andy Reid returning home to play the Eagles. You guys are going to have to embrace him. I want to see how that turns out. Any game in the division could be on this list, but for me, that's the one that stands out. You look at the timeout. And for me, there's a timeout on every schedule in the National Football League. And looking at yours, you've got extreme anomalies on your schedule. You look at the 3 straight road games. You look at the 3 out of 4 at home. You've got anomalies all over your schedule. Kind of anxious to see what the Eagles are going to look like. This is going to be a very unique operation that the Eagles are running. Anxious to see what it looks like. I think the rest of the league are kind of in the dark as well. This should be a lot of fun. You heard that sound in the background. That means that's the Philadelphia Eagles and their schedule release in 5 minutes or less.
5 minutes or less.